It's a beautiful Friday morning, everyone, and welcome to Atlantic Television Network Blowout, which is a syndicated live program of the network. And our job here is very simple. We bring you conversation on special interest topics, news, events, and stories. We do this through correspondent reports, bring expert opinions, and stakeholders analysis. Today on ATN Atlantic Television Network Blowout, we take up with Anchor's charts. PDP merger with a Labour Party akin to fixing Ferrari engine into a Peugeot. In Rivers State, a court detains former Ahoda East chairman over DPO murder. In Anambra State, IPOB warns against selling Ojuku's title, Ikembanewi. In appeal court rulings, a coalition protest attempt by politicians to undermine Nigeria's judiciary. In nation building, we have recorded breakthroughs in Nigeria's security sector. This is coming from the NSA, Nuhu Ribadu. And in National Assembly, rep sectoral debate is stalled by absence of security chiefs. In Senate, Institute of Mining Geosciences Bill scale second reading. So the National Assembly reps reject poor accounts of steel ministry agencies. Our guest on the show today is none other than Comrade Chuba Obuzo. He'll be speaking with us as a public affairs analyst. Stay with us. We'll come back to you on Anchor's chat after the break. Now, if you need to run and you need to continue to watch the show, you're welcome. As a matter of fact, all you need to do is log on to our website, atlantictelevisionnetwork.tv, and you can watch us live there, or download our app from the App Store, ATN Live, and then you can watch us live anywhere you are in the world. And also remember that you can watch us live on our Facebook and YouTube. That's Atlantic Television Network. Now we'll take a short break, and when we come back to you, we'll bring you that conversation about Ferrari and Peugeot. What exactly is it Senator Sheikh Husani talking about? But we'll have all of that conversation after the break. Welcome back to Atlantic Television Network Blowout. It's time for Anchor's chat. A human rights activist and former Kaduna Central Senator Sheikh Husani says merging the People's Democratic Party with the Labour Party supporters is akin to fixing a Ferrari engine into a Porsche vehicle. Senator Sani, who was reacting to the call for political parties merger by Atiku Abubakar on his ex-handle, said merging the PDP with the young, agile and restless Labour supporters will be like fixing a Ferrari engine into a Porsche. Okay, so I don't know why he chose both vehicle brands. Understandably, Ferrari is a beast when it comes to speed. We know that, yeah? But there are also vehicles, that product, that Porsche brands too, that can also be akin to a beast, if you may. Now, but the thing is, when you when you draw the analysis because see, there are modern, latest Peugeot cars that are like bad. They're like, okay, it's not a car show. Let me try to use the right word. I mean, there are Peugeot cars that are everything you can think of in terms of speed and all of that. Peugeot cars are built for the regular roads mainly, but usually the Ferrari cars are used for mainly a speed, very built for speed, which is why they're mostly used for Formula One, understandably. However, when you talk about Nigerian politics, bring that to Nigerian politics in terms of the specification of these vehicles and all of that, and now he is drawing analysis saying, putting, merging PDP and Labour Party, referring to Atiku's merger. For those of you who don't know, at some time last week or thereabouts, the former vice president and the PDP presidential candidate called for political party merge, opposition party merger, so they can have a formidable force, ensure that they pull what they call the octopus, or so, out of seats, referring to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that's on one side. So if you put all of these side by side and begin to ask yourself, why would he make such analysis? Like I said, one is a speed vehicle built for speed. As a matter of fact, one is built for durability of the road with good quality speed too. I mean, there are some ways of comparing some of these vehicles, if you may. They have their goods, they have their better side, if you may, but that's not really the issue here. So now he's saying, when you take the speed engine built for a Ferrari and put it into a Porsche, I don't know what he's trying to get at basically, but of course we know what that is going to look like. Listen, in terms of, let's look at the PDP as a Porsche and look at the Labour Party as a Ferrari. Like I said, they all have their good, all have their positive parts, and you cannot undo one for another. There are places where a Peugeot can go navigate easily in terms of daily life activities that a Ferrari would not comfortably ply because of the nature of these vehicles. Yeah? Good. So for the general masses, they will do more of a Peugeot because we're looking at durability and the effectiveness in terms of everyday life, unlike a Ferrari. But let's bring this to the fore right now and ask ourselves, why would he make such comparison? It is because he has seen that the PDP as a political party seem not to have what you can call the speed, the life force that it should have that will put it at par with modern reality. Look at it during the campaigns. What are the young people who were the force behind the PDP? They had some of them a few years ago, during the Buhari presidency. I know they had a whole lot of these young persons. But we could say that bad politics or old age, if you may, that's what Sheikh Hussain is referring to, may have done the PDP in. But again, isn't that the whole essence of having a young and vibrant segment of the society, and you have the aged ones where the experience comes in to build the Labour Party and all of that? I don't think, if I should have an opinion on that, is I don't think anything is now ultimately wrong with all of that. But the concern here is this: when you look at all of this side by side and ask yourself, what is the essence of a merger, if you want to look at it from that angle? A merger has one goal, and that goal is simply to ensure that ultimately, the needful is done. Why do you merge one political party to the other? It is to ensure that, like Atiku said, you remove President Tinubu and the APC, kick them out of office, because they seem to, it's not necessarily a way of admitting that the APC have become a formidable force to reckon with. While a lot of people may disagree because of all the intra-party crises that seem to be in the APC right now, because the truth is, if push comes to a shove, you shouldn't be surprised to see that the APC in Rivers State will collapse their structure into the PDP if push comes to shove. Because you can't really say that they are still in the APC right now. I mean, those of them, a faction of the APC in Rivers State, the Amechi faction, that is. Now, if you also look at it from other issues around the PDP, the APC, and all of that. You could also find the fault lines that a smart politician can capitalize on. Now, merging the PDP, the Labour Party, bringing in the Labour Party, even the Labour Party as a party that had been given life by the obedience in the 2023 election period, one would think that, hey, that could be a signal for a Labour Party to sit down and put their house in order. But guess what? No. Selfishness, conceitedness seem to be the order of the day. If you look at the press statement by Obiora Ifo, where he was attacking some members of the Labour Party and the obedience, calling them all sorts of names. What did they do? Just for asking a simple question. Can you try to investigate what this youth leader said about Abure in terms of money politics? Can you also investigate what Comrade Udensi Radibi of the Labour Party candidate in the just completed election in Bayelsa said about the party leaders in the state, how the money politics, they were bought over by the incumbent governor, Goyediri. Now, all of these are not being looked into, so you came to the public to attack them. And honestly, from the APC to the PDP to the Labour Party, I think something is ultimately wrong with all of these political parties. I think we're at the point where we need to begin to look at all of them critically. I don't even think, if I may say, any of them has the proper consolidation to stand as a formidable force or independently. So why not? They may begin to look into the Atiku Abubakar's proposal, whether Senator Sani sees it as planning fixing a Ferrari engine in a Porsche. Well, that is because you want to give the Porsche life. I mean, so you take down, you put into there. So that merger will go a long way to give life to what we can call a formidable opposition force in this country. Who knows? That could just be our saving grace as a country. So, but if you're not looking at it from all of that angle, you could just look at it from Senator Shah and say, I don't see how that is going to work. Oh, come on, how can you put a Ferrari engine inside of a Porsche? Well, fixing it doesn't mean that it's no longer an engine. If you can accommodate it, why not? Because at the end of the day, they're all vehicles. But now, these are political parties. What is the goal for each of these political parties? Is it just to win election and take over power like the APC? Or is it just to see how they can become a formidable opposition party? Again, I do not think that it may be such a bad idea if you think about it. But put all of this again side by side and bring it to the front and ask yourself, if there's going to be a merger between the Labour Party and, okay, let's not say the Labour Party. I think they should be talking about the Obedient. But would the Obedient want to be called a PDP? Because their interest is just Peter Obi, by the way. PDP? I don't know. Now, why don't they even begin to think about having like a different political party altogether? Different political party altogether with a clear, defined ideology that has nothing to do with the rhetorics we have seen for so long in this country in the name of political party, where we can't even differentiate one from another. I mean, come on. If we really want to rebuild this country, maybe that could be a way to begin to look at these things to say, okay, maybe somehow if we're able to look at it from the angle of having a brand new political party, but clear-cut ideology that does not slip from one point to the other. If it's going to be the Labour ideology where you have like, where you have like production, national development as an agenda, all true, and maybe when it comes to, you know how what you have in the US, like the pro-life and the abortion kind of thing, where you have if it's going to be a conservative political party, if it's not going to be conservative, but if they can take this time to clearly define what that should be, I don't see why not, if that is going to save Nigeria from the state where we find ourselves in, why not? So I don't see anything wrong with that, because I believe that the vibrancy that was given to the Labour Party, which they seem to be taking for granted by the obese followers called the Obedient, if you give it to the PDP or a brand new political party that has an agenda that aligns with these young people, I believe that they can drive it and it becomes a proper position for party. But again, Will the selfish interest of these politicians mess it up? That is where these young persons called obedient need to come together in the name of obedience away. I hope they don't throw it away. I hope they realize that this is not just about Peter Obi, that is beyond the Peter Obi. I hope they find a way to ensure that they come together, have a formidable force, pull in more young persons together and make this whole thing happen. And I pray that wisdom prevails where and where necessary. But whether a Peugeot and a Ferrari can work together, well, who says nothing is impossible in this world? I think the Bible said that all things are possible. So we believe that there is a way a Peugeot and a Ferrari can actually come together and have a formidable force and crush all the crushables on the Formula One field. Well, all of that is what we can do on Anchor's Chat today. Stay with us. We'll come back to you on the main show with Comrade Chuba Obuzo. We'll come back to you after the break.
5-4 Empire Entertainment, in collaboration with River State Television, presents International Legendary Grand Award 2023. Theme: The Distinguished Conference, and Academic Beauty Queen Nigeria 2023, Season 5, The Beaut Elect Project, the #1 educational project contest nationwide. Performing Original Stereo Man, GYC, MC Mumu, Odogu Vibes, etc. Host Lady Chinyere Nwabweze, Nollywood star actress, and Emeka Okoye, Nollywood actor, and other special guests of honor. Date: 19th November 2023. Venue: Silver Blaze Garden and Hotels, 39 Eze Baka Baka Avenue, Woji Road, Port Harcourt, River State, Nigeria. Time: green carpet, 4 p.m. Main event, 5 p.m. Tickets: regular, 2,000 naira. VIP, 5,000 naira. Table for 5, 50,000 naira. Gold table, 300,000 naira. Diamond, 1 million naira. For more information, partnerships and sponsorships, please call 0813-359-3563 or 0906-047-4445. You can also email us at 54ckempire@gmail.com. Powered by 54 Empire Entertainment, Eloquent Suite, River State Television, Silver Blaze Garden and Hotels, Wish 99.5 FM, Atlantic Television Network, AIT, and 8 Ball Play Lounge, etc.
Alright, good to have you back on Atlantic Television Network Blowout. I just thought I should let you know that by Peugeot, I was referring to Peugeot. 544 Peugeot 208, in all those vehicles. So because they have just warned me that people are now aware of what I was saying. It's Peugeot, by the way. But let's get to welcome our guest on the show this morning, Comrade Chuba Obuzo. Good morning and welcome to ATM Blowout.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Why are you smiling like that? You didn't understand I was saying there is Peugeot.
Yes, you have communicated to your audience and I hope they get the message, and like you rightly concluded, it's an expectation and hopeful one at that the Ferrari engine in a Peugeot
why are you like this?
Vehicle
544
could equally move.
You can just call it a 544.
We just hope that the Ferrari engine doesn't crash the vehicle. So let the vehicle not crash at the end.
Is it because of the restlessness?
Because you
the
can
young,
understand
agile,
that the engine of a Ferrari to be carrying the metal weights of a Peugeot or a Peugeot, as the case may be. You don't forget. You try to make the analogies very clear, though it was not really as clear as the audience would have loved it, because whether you like it or yes, the PDP seems to be the Peugeot or the Peugeot as it is, with overladen politicians possibly not really having any value or usefulness as it is. But be that as it may, I think the more important issue is the fact that whether you put a Ferrari engine in a Peugeot vehicle and it functions, it starts running, to where is it running to? There's a judiciary, there's a government, there's a political lifestyle today. Whether you run fast, whether you accept it, whether you're not. So in all of these, I don't know where the vehicle is really heading to. I think
so, but
a more serious
what
issue.
if they decide to leave the
system is a very, very complex one. It's a pragmatic environment as it is. So what I would like you to hear is, I think it's just a wishful thought. Unless something happens drastically, trust me, the system we have today is one that is built to collapse. However, we do not know when and how, but unless something happens drastically, with the sincerity of those that are already saddled with responsibility or blessed with the opportunity to be given power, selected, appointed, as you want to say it, name it, but just have a conscience to decide that we cannot go.
A period coup order that the defendant be remanded at the Port Harcourt Correctional Center and adjourned the case to the 21st of November 2023 for plea and bail consideration. Meanwhile, the acting OC Legal and Prosecuting Counsel SP Eyinye Pere Sikbi explained that the defendants cannot be bailed at the first appearance in court to the charge preferred, while one of the counsel to the defendants, Uchechukwu Megiri, stated that at the next adjourned date, proper application will be moved due to the nature of the charge, and this is coming after late DP of Ahoda East Local Government Area SP Baku and Mushim was brutally murdered by a gang of notorious Iceland cultists led by one Gift David Okpara, aka Tubaba, and his notorious gang on the 8th of September 2023. The Rivers State government and the Rivers State Police Commander had placed a bounty on him and his cohorts. How much was that bounty against 100 million?
I don't know. I think lately I was beginning to hear it was 10 million naira because I don't know. Everything about Nigeria today from 2015 has been an alleged situation. Until something happens, in short, when something is even happening, unless when it's happening, after that moment it's an alleged situation, so that we do not start bridging protocols and processes. But be that as it may, bounty has been placed on the net.
Okay, here is the interesting part of this conversation. The new CP, Commissioner for Police in Rivers State, was in a order, I think yesterday or thereabout, and he's saying, hey, I want this guy, I want the Tubaba, I want him, and I'm not negotiating that and all of that. But
I think those allegations were already put up. And immediately that murder happened, I think it is to everyone's note that, what's it called, the GSS had them in chief custody in the custody for a reasonable period of time back there in Abuja before, I think, transferring back to Port Harcourt. However, I think these issues they are being reminded to me, to a large extent, if they are suspected or fingered in one way or the other, is a very welcome one. But my major and bigger concern is the fact that I think on the eve of Sunday Eve, Tubaba and his gang equally came into the community, and I think 5 persons were murdered, 5 persons were killed. Now one would ask, in a serious situation of this nature, with a bounty already placed on the head of the person, that the police force should have been able to keep a special squad within that territory or that environment, manning guard, expecting, because the person is not going to go to northern Nigeria, so to speak, because from the look of things, you have condoned an environment or caged the people in. You understand? But for the people to come into the community with such brazen confidence and murder 5 persons and go unimpeded in that manner, and I don't think, for me, I don't know, I think I have every reason to fault the security structure and what has been done so far. However, I am one person who believes that the rule of law, as it ought to have been in a country like ours or anywhere in the world, should have always been upheld at all times. But we have seen funny situations around here. More so, I would want to plead that whoever is involved in all of this, the police does the needful and bring them to justice. But not failing to realize or remind us that we have been told that people are in custody, and at the end of the day, some people have some immunity kind of. They equally have access to leave the prison and possibly appear when people need them to appear. But as it may, there's so much corruption in the country, so much possibility of very nefarious things to happen on very serious matters of this nature. If the CP that was murdered in such gruesome manner could have not been given a task team to stay back in the community, to man things and watch the movement of persons and possibly apprehend any of such persons that have already been fingered in case they walk around the community. But for the persons to come at the midnight of Sunday and gruesomely murder 5 persons of the community suspected to have aided the police at one point or the other, come on, I think it is one too many, and the laxities and the shortcomings of the police and even the security agencies is not one that we should applaud or pet. So for me, it is my job to analyze the situation and make my own inferences from them. I think that's what I'm doing fairly without trying to trample on anybody's job or rights. But trust me when I say the happening so far and the level of recoveries or achievements made on this matter is not applaudable by me.
All right, here is another angle to this. Okay, investigations are being carried out. We know all of that. Like you said, these people came into the community about on Sunday or thereabouts and murdered 5 persons. So I want to ask, are they looking for these guys? No, sincerely, is Nigerian police telling us that they are looking for two Baba?
You know, if I was not informed about some of the discussion we're going to have, I would have merged these discussions somewhere. But I think we'll get there as well. The truth remains that you hear people say if they want to work, the Nigerian police force want to work, they would work. And so at that point, I just want to leave your conscience to be: are they working now? Or are
here's the reason why I asked that question. The Nigerian police force that I know on the inside, not some of the things we read about in public, know exactly what to do and how to do it. So I want to find out. Emeka Nwoyi has just been removed. We had his statement during the issues concerning the SP and Bashim, how he made it look like, oh, it was the man's fault, which got a lot of persons angry that period. And play, joke.
You best to analyze that. We're talking about a system where special task force team of the IGP were gruesomely murdered by terrorists. And another special task team went and apprehended such a terrorist, so to speak. And someone from the Nigerian military came and supported and gave him aided him, and killed that same task team and moved made him escape. And another task team went and equally apprehended him again. And this person sang on public television. He sang the songs of Lawino like a canary, and everybody were privy to the information that people and powers in the security offices were supporting him or are giving him aid. Where is he today? Where is that situation on ground today? So whether we like it or yes, this is the situation we have come to find ourselves. This is the funny reality that we must live with. And until something happens drastically, like your uncle's chat when we just tried to look into it before we moved on, and I said, if you like, take carry an OO truck, or go and carry a Mack truck, put in a Ferrari in it with the speed and strength of such. If there is no road, it cannot move. And as I can put it very clearly to you, the system we are seeing today is one that is built to collapse. And whether we like it or not, these are inferences that we should reference and say this and this has happened before. What came out of them? If nothing came out of them, then someone has to do more than the normal to get something out of this one as well. Because whether we like it or yes, I do not play down on the spiritualities in African soil and even in the world at large. And I make bold to say that when you talk about the kind of investigations we are seeing, the things that we're seeing in the what's it called, whether chief priest or whoever his name is, his palace and all, the kind of things we saw a lot of diabolic things involved, and we know that these things matter. But I equally know that in the midst of all of these, the Nigerian police force, at some point in time, I don't know if it's the right order that was given or there's a right ginger, or I don't get it. But people have found out that they have been able to bring out the right results. They've been able to work, and results have been overly evident to all that wants to look at it, to say it. And it's embarrassing to the Nigerian police force, and equally very embarrassing to every good citizen of this country, because it says so much about the Nigerian police force and where it stands today. And it is a very, very scary one for every Nigerian who is believing that there's hope, still hope anywhere lying in this country for a better Nigeria. Because whether we like it or yes, the way this matter has been handled, the results we are getting, trust me when I say it is really, really pitiable and far from what we expect as a people. Because whether we like it or we don't like it, the Nigerian police force on this matter has not done enough that should be applauded by people like us in our society.
All right, we'll just leave it at that. Now, the indigenous people, let's get to a number of states. The indigenous people of Biafra have warned the traditional ruler of Newi, Igwe Orizu, and his nation's plans to use the Ikemba Newi title in an attempt to secure some legitimacy for his upcoming gubernatorial bid. Our eternal leader's title should be let out of his political plans. In life, Ojukwu made his stance clear. Ojukwu represents the people and not the personal ambitions of any individual. IPOB is, by way of this message, also alerting the good Igwe Orizu of the secret plans that are being hatched behind his back. Anybody who intends to buy that title is setting himself up against IPOB and Ndibo in general. Nobody in Newi or any part of Alibo is allowed to be conferred with the title of Ikemba Newi. That title, he said, belongs to the late Chukwemeka Odimegwu Ojukwu and to him alone. His Royal Majesty Igwe Orizu of Newi should stop those planning the sale of the Ikemba Newi title to anyone or those responsible will have IPOB to contend with. We shall never be kind to the sellers or buyers of the chieftaincy title belonging to our eternal leader, Chukwemeka Odimegwu Ojukwu. He said Igwe Newi and his cabinet should look for other titles to confer to the money-back carrying politician, but must not tamper with the Ikemba Newi title. Sometimes I wonder, okay, Ojukwu is the forefather of Biafra, if you want to put it that way, so that's understandable. But I'm trying to understand why this title that is alleged to be being sold to a politician matters so much down in Anambra State. So it's not like that represents everything that Biafra is. Why do you think this is creating such an uproar right now?
Firstly, like you tried to make it light or seemingly look light, whether I would like it or not, where we are in modern day living does not take away an history for the Igbo people or the Nigerian race or the Nigerian people in general. I think there are titles that were conferred on Usman Danfodo, on some great Nigerians, the Awolowos and the Tafawa Balewas and all. And I think that the IPOB people seemingly want to look at the Ikemba Newi title as one they should revere. But what I think a lot of people have not asked is, what is the title in the first place? And when you now know what the title is, you now ask yourself, what was conferred? And when you now know that, I think we'll now go further to say, what were the belief systems or laws attached to that title from all analysis before the title was conferred and even when the title was conferred. But be that as it may, I think I really do not like the grandstanding of any set of people in Nigeria anymore, be it IPOB, be it Arewa Youth, be it Naya Delta, any Vengeance, just be it anybody. The way the Nigerian system is skewed, yes, I think that more powerful has made its stance clear, but it is equally more embarrassing for the Igbo people to realize, for me, that the Igbo people still believe that these are the issues that should bother us or bother them, as it were. Can you imagine that we're talking about an election, election bid? I'm surprised that in the course of your reading through the news, the heir of the Ikemba was not involved. But I think the son of the what's it called? Igwe Orizu is involved in all of this. But be that as it may, I think it is important that we should not look at this as a light issue. There are other titles to be conferred. People have received titles of Agu, meaning that they are the lions and all. They cannot qualify for other titles. If this is something that should be may cause some level of tension or necessary unrest in the southeast, that has been through a lot over this period of time. I think that both the Igwe, the government of the day and all should be able to sway in very fast, wade in very fast and see to it that this is managed as peacefully and amicably as they can. Because I don't think it's an issue that is worth all of this kind of tension and stress. So for me, this is my opinion, and I just want to believe that if the people believe that they should revere the title and revere the personality that was conferred the title at some point in time, which is not out of place in any way. I think that the good Igwe and the good people of Inewi and stakeholders of Inewi and stakeholders of the Anambra and state government
can selfishly incite conflict through such actions, and he urged those responsible to stop these ignoble acts. On his part, Mr. Adamu Kabir, convener of the Guardians of Democracy, said, "Today we stand united to celebrate the triumph of the judiciary over the nefarious attempt by political parties to manipulate and undermine the rule of law." He further notes that the recent attempts from various quarters, including politicians, lawyers, and even members of the public, to distract the judiciary and the alarming trend of individuals attempting to influence the judicial decisions through intimidation, bribery, and threat of violence. In fact, they went as far as warning the PDP. The case of Plateau State or that of Kanu, we learned that I think Kanu, the decision will be taken today. The governor Yusuf have just called for calm everywhere. You know, who knows how the judgment is going. This group that are fighting for the judiciary, I want to understand something. Maybe I missed it. Maybe you might help us get it. When did we get to this point where people
like it or yes? These are people who have been in the middle of a lot of inhumane treatment by both people who do not of other faiths. Was it not in the same Nigeria in Sokoto last year where a Nigerian girl of Samuel, Deborah Samuel, was not only, it does not have to be Nigerians, the internet never forgets. And once these things are programmed like this and have come to print media, they are on television or the televised or they are somewhere, someone somehow someday will dig them out. When people do what they do, they should be considerate of the offsprings that will come from their loins. Think of what tomorrow stands to be. I am not saying that if you believe in something, you cannot come out to say, this is what I believe in. Possibly Mr. Ogbe or Mr. Kaba, either of them are friends or relatives to the governor-elect of Plateau State. That is not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying point where everything is almost like says he who pays the piper takes the tune. Whether we like it or we do not like it. We have said that the ways and manners upon which judicial officers get to their offices or get to the echelons of the judiciary are possibly completely wrong by international standards. Where politicians have to be the ones to nominate, make appointments and all of that. At the end of the day, it is what we are seeing. We can imagine what we saw in 2019 as from the Supreme Court judgment that went viral. A lot of people from international organizations poked a lot of clauses from that judgment. And now we are in 2023, and I think even a worse one had come, to the extent that we have come to see Abuja as Obiakpo or Faga, because of automatically, whether we like it or not, some lawyers, some persons will reference it tomorrow. And I've said it. We have begun to drive the legal profession to another hustling ground like every other hustling profession. So for me, it's neither here nor there. We cannot come out and say in good conscience that judiciary is not influenced in one way or the other. We cannot. So whether we like it or yes, we have seen things happen in this country, and we have seen people, because of their personal selfish interest, completely thrown caution to the wind and are building on a very, very, very faulty foundation. I said it without my words. Even if everything was justifiably right when Onogen was to be removed, I said that the judiciary, the legal profession should have done everything within our coffers to ensure that the executive did not remove Onogen, but worked out a modality by themselves. If they so believe that some rights of some privileges have been breached, to have removed Onogen on their own. But as it was, we saw that the government of the day, led by President Muhammad Buhari, removed Onogen, and we equally had a CJ that came with so much encumbrances, talking about results, talking about I mean, let's not even go there. In the midst of all of this, we've gotten another judgment from the Supreme Court. From all the petitions from the state to the Supreme Court, we've gotten another judgment in what's it called, in 2023. We saw how the judgment was just the way the election in line, because it's like a system. It's like a system. It's the system that we believe, okay, you cannot grow without following the path. And what are the paths that we are following? What are the track routes? So for me, I think that this view that you have, that justices are influenced or the judiciary is influenced, as the Ogbe faction or the Ogbe-led groups have said, it's not far-fetched. It's not out of place. The possibility that the judiciary is being influenced cannot be overemphasized. So if these people believe that some powerful politicians are influencing the judiciary, I think I've said it.
good to have you back on Atlantic Television Network Blowout. Let's get on with other issues. Again, if there is need for you to take off and you want to turn off from the TV.
3 weeks ago, the ones that happened in Imo State, the beating of Ajero and all that, I don't know, security breaches.
Oh.
And if someone modus operandi that the security services applied. And these are serious matters. Even the persons that are alleged to have come to attack those people are persons that are wanted in as a country. There is no direction seemingly looking horizontal or vertical. What we are seeing now is a direct plunging to the earth, and it is a crashing system we are watching. We might be playing with all of these like the politicians that having a feel of themselves. The 160 million naira worth of SUVs per person. We have got to move us allowances. They are feeling themselves. But the system from which they are all dragging or getting these funds, it's collapsing on the 9th and the 8th assembly when people are invited and they just act like as though they are all bigger than the law. These are appointees of the executive arm of government, completely rubbing it on the legislative arm of government over and over again. We saw the Comptroller General of Customs at different instances. The House was mad about situations, but to what end did all of that go? We saw what happened with Investors Kiamu that was almost observed again when he was called out for his screening. How far did it go? The same House that is shouting down to the high heavens now. At the end of the day, we have our own palin, and people will still walk away like if nothing happened. This is the system we found ourselves. However, it is important and imperative to state that what's it called? These security service chiefs ought to appear in person, because these are serious issues, not when tomorrow the House makes a findings and takes a decision, and the people now, the number one citizen of that place, and the service chief now comes to say it was a representative, is not well informed. It's not aware of that information. It does not have that. We don't need all of this back and forth. So I think we need to make it. Well, look, we are looking at a system where we saw the Ninth Assembly who came and said, "Oh, the Buhari is our father. Whatever he says, we would pass. We will stamp it because he's a very good person." Is that politics? Is that governance? But we saw it. We applauded it. Some people that came up to public space like this analyzed it right. When you give a man gives all his right to his wife and say, "Oh, take my right," or the wife say, "Take all my right, kill all my people," it's good. You are a very intelligent man, a strong woman. Is that the system? But we saw it and people applauded it, and I think people are building on that already. Now all of the service chiefs sent representatives as if it was a unanimous arrangement. No one even came in himself to say, "I believe my budget, I believe what we have done," and all of that. So whether we accept or not, this is a pattern we are beginning to that I think that the House should be able to rise. But how far can the House really rise up to occasion with the kind of formation, with the kind of scenes we saw, and how people came to power? It's disturbing, because Tuesday, if their voices will be honored, or if once again we'll toe the path we have always observed.
So here is the big question. Do you see the service chiefs making appearance before the 10th Assembly? What are the chances?
You are trying to give me an officer. The statements that will just be made and all of that, and at the end of the day, the country moves on.
Here is why I'm finding this funny. Let's assume that they decide not to show up and gives them an excuse why they will not be there and sends another representative. If now they get angry, let's say Okezie or Abbas gets angry to the point where he says, "Hey, we're going to issue warrants of arrest. Who is going to arrest the service chief?" Or what would the House do if they decide not to turn up?
You see, I've always made this analogy. Posterity will be our judges. We almost reference events. Now ask yourself, the people that have said they will not show up and they didn't show up, what has happened to them before now? Were they service chiefs? Many of them were not service chiefs, and nothing happened before now. When we're talking about the 1 billion naira
Nigeria does not reasonably benefit from its solid minerals subsector. The fact that we have an institution that we now feel should be transformed into a university is to say that we need to have those with expertise and skills that will help develop this subsector.
Conversation we're about to have, because it clearly says that, oh, we are making progress, something is going on. But even in as much as it looks like something is going on, the concern we now have as a people is this: the issue of mining in this country, whether you're mining solid minerals or you're mining gold in Zamfara or crude or whatever it is you may be mining, the interest for all of these conversations seems to be shifting to the north. And the Niger Delta, a lot of voices, strong voices, have raised curious questions why the interest seems to be shifting that way. What happens to and other institutions? Do we seem to be driving this narrative to be a kind of a north thing?
I don't want to join you in that direction of reasoning, because talking about solid minerals, you ask yourself, the people of the Niger Delta, what do they really have in terms of solid minerals? In the course of research, what is under the earth that we can call solid minerals as it is? What would the Niger Delta people and the supposed stakeholders should have been looking at is to ensure that the PIB is not just a bill, it's not just an act, but one that should be robust enough, that should be visibly affecting the lives of the people of the region. And unless that is done, there's little or nothing anybody could do. You cannot give what you don't have. The solid minerals are majorly domiciled in the northern part of Nigeria. That's not my problem. My problem now is we're talking about trying to create a bill that should establish a department or a faculty or a school, as it were, in Jos for solid minerals and mining. The ones that we have today, how far have we managed them? And the ones that are already on ground, how well are they functioning to for the interest of the Nigerian people? Today it's still like rumor. We still call it rumor. People said the analysis or the investigations that came made us to understand that the tension that arose in the northern Nigeria in the course of Borno State terrorism and all, they arose as a result of pockets of miners, people mining solid minerals individually. And we, at some point in Zamfara State, we were made to understand the Zamfara gold to the extent that the federal government under Muhammadu Buhari had to give a legal backing to it, to see to it that now the government of the day has a stake in the mining. What we consider fire in the Niger Delta region, which is illegal refining, we consider them as illegal miners in northern Nigeria. But good leadership packaged it together, because the ingenuity of the people have been able to be blowing up the rocks, going to seek for the mine, get mines, seek for the mineral resources or the treasures of like gold and all. And at the end of the day, they are called artisan miners, and are put together in a team. Now we have a country that cannot refine a product for years, with all the equipment put in the refineries, the four refineries level, and upon that strength, faring. Then I think we have to bring in the sheer ingenuity of the people from this region to see how they can put their pockets of ideas and make it in a larger scale. We talked about a modular refinery, we talked about cellular refinery, up through the Buhari administration, and there, as how powerful they are, how strong they can give people problem, how well they can make this work. When we can, in all fairness to conscience, I keep telling us, as far as the Nigerian space is concerned, many people from the south are just, they are just an equation, they are less than an equation even in the equation itself. But in the course of coming to community and coming to states and local government, some people now think that they are lions and make the noise all around. But I put it to everybody listening today. Ask yourself the all important questions. We have straight two very important mineral resources in our country. They were formerly called illegal miners in Zamfara State. So the change you need to Wale and his led team to make those people come to the limelight and the minds and the mind of the government. And the Buhari administration paid a whopping 5 billion, if we can remember. So these persons are put things together, call them artisan miners. And today, the Niger Delta region, we are running a task getter, clamping down on people that will call the illegal refiners. Fine and good. The way manner they get the products, the way manner they refine it might be crude, but I think their ingenuity has to be looked into, because so far so good. With all the professors of petroleum resources, all the schools of petroleum resources, doctors and people that have all the PhDs and all, yet put together in the NNPC and other multinationals, we are yet to refine anything in our country. Refineries are not functional with all the equipment put in there. I think if these young men and women are brought into those facilities and made to take a tour around those facilities, they can touch the right chords. I think you can make the refineries work again. And I think it is that's all. I think that's the direction the Nigeria Post should be looking at. Seeing to it that the refineries function, they work well, and the people upon whose land these oils are domiciled live well, because every other part of the world, oil has been a blessing. Only in Nigeria, oil seemingly looks like a curse.
Well, we'll just push it on quickly. House of Representatives Committee on Steel Development rejected the poor accounts submitted by the Ministry of Steel and agencies under its purview. The chairman of the committee, Honorable Zainab Gimba, during the 2023 budget appraisal meeting with the Ministry of Steel Development and related agencies in Abuja, said that the agencies were also not forthcoming in presenting their submissions. Honorable Gimba said findings from documents submitted by the ministry and agencies show clearly that there are basic and vital omissions of a common factor of failure to obtain valid bank statements from the Central Bank of Nigeria to produce standard bank recognition statements. She noted that steel development was a more reliable and sustainable driver of economic growth in Nigeria than petroleum, considering the potential of a steel to turn around the nation's economy and to attract the much needed foreign exchange for the economy. Here is the report.
This very crucial meeting today results as a result of late submission of requested documents from the ministry and some agencies who are not able to meet up with the deadlines. Flowing from this development, I think, considering the enormity of the job ahead of us, as we get ready for the presentation of the 2024 budget presentation, henceforth, we are not going to condone any delay in submission of required documents or appearing before the committees. And the findings from documents submitted by the ministry and agencies shows clearly that there is basic and vital omission of common factor of failure to obtain valid bank statement because efficient accounting system and effective internal control system are comforts that ensures compliance of laws, rules, regulations, and standards that support discharge of quality oversight function. We shall maintain uncompromising guidance towards achieving results. This is the essence of oversight in parliamentary representation.
Again is there is a natural resources we have domiciled in this country. According to the minister, this can actually turn out to be a major source of revenue for Nigeria beyond petroleum, or more than petroleum, like she said, like more than crude. Why do you think we're having this conversation right now? What do you think is going on? Is it an awakening, or is it meant to drive a different narrative?
You know, when you talk about steel, it hits me personally because I was born in the steel village. I grew up in Delta Steel Company complex, housing estate complex. I had first-hand one-on-one with the furnaces. I knew what was being produced there in Delta Steel Company, Onya Alaja, Delta State. I knew the gas alone that was being produced on a daily, and at that time, over 100 million naira was made right in at that time on only gas, on only the oxygen that was being produced from that place. Now, this is the system we have come to find in Nigeria. It's a system that consciously kills its own, destroys it for selfish personal gains. And today, that same company is almost a sale of that company. I can reference the hula baloo that transpired with the Boa company, and then the the one that the president at the time, Olusegun Obasanjo, wanted, and all the back and forths that happened there. It is no gainsaying that steel plant was built outside 4 other steel plants in the world for development of any direct personal nation. Ask yourself, the kind of roads, the amount of roads we are going to be, we are importing to ensure that we want to build bridges and do roads. Now, if you have a steel complex in your country, that will be a job. It will be like 50% of the job is already done. But now we're going to be waiting on shipments, and all the time, all the period we're going to be paying what's it called, the VAT and all that we have to pay to ensure that this goods come into the nation. So I think I understand the honorable member very well, and I think I stand with her on this matter. On serious issues like facing the panels that should be able to do appropriations and now put your budgets, or now put your whatever you call a budget, and now put them together and make the budget to be passed to the executive. You should not be coming with documents that are maybe what's it called, photocopies, or not actual documents or bank statements. And I think she was only being polite and trying to be politically correct, not to slight anybody's ego on this matter. But whether we like it or not, this is the reality of our Nigeria today. People just do things with reckless abandon, with recourse to nobody. They don't care, they don't fear nobody, they don't bother, they don't want to know what will transpire, or what can ever happen. And why is that so? It's because there is a system. We have been in this country where an officer of the law saddled the responsibility of an issue that took place right under his purview, came on public space in a national television and pointing his finger to the heavens, saying, "Oga at the top." It's Oga at the top that knows the website. And you are asking people to apply on a national television, and at the end of the day, these things are swept under the carpet. Nothing happens because there's an Oga at the top that must be protected, or an Oga at the top that somebody has come to represent. When people represent themselves in this embarrassing manner, you should understand that the Nigerian people have graduates. They have people, competent hands scattered everywhere. People should be relieved. They should. Yet it's just allowed to slide because why? Somebody applauds your inability. Somebody commends your shortcomings. And I want to believe that it's high time the government begins to look at the revamping of the steel sectors that they've got, the steel industry that they've got in this country. Leave out the quotations that they are making here and there. If they cannot handle it, they should be able to have a partnership with multinationals that should be able to put these things in place. Because without a steel sector running, a steel company running within the system, development is almost impossible. We just keep having an handful of funny kind of project. What's it called? Project. How they call it, groundbreaking ceremonies for projects to be carried out. But at the end of the day, these projects might not see the light of day because why? Everything in Nigeria, crazy and shocking as it sounds, that we are importing toothpick in Nigeria, we are importing cotton bud, earbud in Nigeria as a country today, and nobody saying anything. And we have people still stashing money in underground building, in water GP tanks. We still have people paying for residencies in private places where only what is only inside is money. How daft the people that direct our government, how daft the people that are opportune to be saddled responsibility and have the access to funds have become. That this is where we've come to find ourselves as a people. So for me, I want to believe that the honorable member should stand their ground, ensure that they stand their ground, ensure that those people bring out their papers right, and if they are done, I think more bills should come out to see how we can revamp the steel industry. I think it's a pathway to go and the best and most possible way for our nation's development.
All right, now let's wrap up with a conversation emanating from Abuja that has to do with the detention of Nnamdi Kanu. The indigenous people of Biafra's leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's family, again alleged that the Department of State Services still shields Nnamdi Kanu from the family and his lawyers. The younger brother of Nnamdi Kanu, Prince Emmanuel Kanu, who raised alarm on Thursday, that according to him, said he went to the DSS headquarters Abuja to visit the IPOP leader. Prince Kanu said the attitude of the DSS was very suspicious, while he raised a fresh concern over the state of his deteriorating health. The family is wondering why the DSS would brazenly be violating court order which authorized the family and Carlos' lawyers to visit him twice a week. Carlos' family said the Nigerian government should be held responsible if anything happens to their son, who is illegally detained against court orders. Now, because of time, let me quickly come to you on this. Why is Nigerian government, both the Buhari government and now the Tinubu government,
in a normal and in a sane and normal society, the person should be allowed to go for one reason or another. These are peculiar issues, serious issues that are treasonable, that amounts to treasonable felony, that they have some likelihood of tension to national security and all. Be that as it may, this issue brings us to the very first issue we discussed today about the two Baba issue. Was attacked prior to the general elections, and